I'm here with Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Alexander, we did a live a couple of days ago on Assange and the fact that Wikileaks had announced, I believe it was on a Thursday evening, and we did the live on a Friday, that Wikileaks had announced that it was imminent within a couple of hours to a couple of days that the Ecuador embassy would revoke his asylum. They would release Assange to the UK authorities. And from that point on, as you detailed in the live, I'll put a link for the live down below in the description. As you detailed, he would be whisked away from the UK, extradited to the United States, and God knows what would happen to him at that point. It was towards the end of that live that a user said that Sky News had reported that the Ecuador, I believe the finance minister, or the foreign minister, had said that the WikiLeaks post was not accurate. The WikiLeaks news was not accurate, and that Ecuador was not going to hand over Assange. We have more news today that it looks like the Ecuador government is pulling back on that. What do you make of what's going on?
Yes, first of all, if you remember, I speculated at the time that in our live, just as that news was coming out, that what had actually happened was that the protests against the revocation of Assange's asylum had in fact been successful, and it was that which had forced the Ecuadorian government to change course. Now, I think that is now being generally acknowledged to have been the case. And can I explain why I think that is the case? Because, of course, there were several hours, many hours passed between Wikileaks publishing that information, which it had obtained from a source within the Ecuadorian government, and the Ecuadorian government, through the foreign minister, coming out and contradicting what they had said. And in fact, also, there was a very heavy police presence, British police presence, outside the Ecuadorian embassy, which also looked to be consistent with an imminent expulsion of Assange from the embassy. So all the indications are that the Ecuadorians were indeed about to expel Assange from the embassy, that somehow after Wikileaks got the story from a source within the Ecuadorian government, there were big protests around the world, protests within Ecuador also, and the Ecuadorian government found itself under great popular pressure, and it changed course. And that, it seems to me, is what happened. Now, I think it was Joe Laurier, who is the editor of Consortium News. He also made the very important point that WikiLeaks got its information from a source within the Ecuadorian government, which shows that in spite of everything, Assange still has supporters within the Ecuadorian government. It's this new government, this new president, President Moreno, who clearly does want to expel him, is not able to get fully his own way. So the lesson of this story is, yes, there was a plan to expel Assange. I've no doubt about that. Secondly, it failed. The reason it failed is because elements within the Ecuadorian government opposed it and acted to inform WikiLeaks. And this is the most important thing, citizen activism around the world, people coming out and speaking out against it, as we did on our live the other day, and as of course happened with the protests that happened outside the embassy, and the protests in Ecuador and the protests in other places, that worked. And in fact, it shows and proves that taking a stand can actually be effective. So that's the lesson we should learn from this affair.
All right, so let's wrap it up. They failed, but two questions. Will Moreno try again? And yes, do you believe that eventually he will succeed in expelling Assange?
Yes, of course he will try again. I mean, I think it is predetermined. In fact, I'm going to make a guess that there is at this moment in time within Ecuador a major investigation to find out who the source of that leak was. And it won't just be the Ecuadorians who are carrying it out. It'll be the US authorities also. There will be a major hunt to try and find and identify the source of that leak. And as soon as they've done that, and even if they don't do it, at some point, I expect them to try again. The only thing, in my opinion, that has a chance of saving Assange from this fate, which sooner or later is going to happen, is if there is a change of government in London. It is in London that the big decisions are going to be made. And I think if we have a new government in London, possibly led by Jeremy Corbyn, who is known to be sympathetic to Assange, then it's possible that even then it is far from certain that he will be at least a certain degree safer than he is now, and may be able to leave the embassy without risking immediate arrest. But having said that, I still don't hold out much hope for him, and the people who are out to get him in Ecuador, London, and above all in Washington are still there, and they haven't gone away, and they haven't changed their views.
So you're saying that maybe Theresa May's botched Brexit may pave the way for a Corbyn government, which may be an outside chance that a Corbyn government, should it come about, may actually grant Assange some sort of leeway or some sort of path out of his imprisonment in the Ecuador embassy.
Yes, but I really want to underline and write in capital letters the word maybe. First of all, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of jumps.
Exactly.
To get there,
First of all, we don't know that any of that's going to happen. I mean, we can't be certain that there will even be a Corbyn government. Right. But even if there is a Corbyn government, and even if Corbyn himself has some sympathies for Assange, which I happen to know, by the way, that he does, it is by no means guaranteed that that will amount to anything. So let's not, imagine that there's great cause for optimism or hope there. The only thing that we can do is to remain prepared to mobilize, to do kind of reports like the one we did with our live, and which other people did when they protested, when this situation arises again, which it will.
All right. For now, it looks like Ecuador has pulled back, has walked it back, and Assange remains safe in the embassy, as safe as he can be.
As safe as he can be.
Safe but censored and not in good shape. All right.
And not in good shape. That's the other thing. Yeah. I mean, he's in very poor shape.
Very poor health. Yeah. All right. So Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you very much. Guys, if you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below. Click on the notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. Visit the Duran shop. Pick up a t-shirt. Help support the Duran. And in the description box down below, you'll find links to our PayPal and Patreon pages. Please donate to us. It really helps us out a lot. And you can follow this video in audio format. Go to iTunes and SoundCloud and follow us there. Go to theduran.com and see the articles that Alexander links up to every day. Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you once again. Until next time, everybody, take care.